What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pitts from Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio, Pitts Sports Zone. Coming to you live with Coach Bernard Clark Jr. himself, aka Tiger. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well, Pitch. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Happy Halloween to those who celebrate it. You know, it's been one of those Halloweenish type days.
No doubt. It's been a Halloween type weekend for me because that was a nightmare. Those
So let's go ahead and jump right in. I did see things didn't fare too well for my Colonials. First, before we get into the aspects of the game, how did the players that were injured fare in that game? Did we come out, not re-injuring it or making it worse?
No, they unscathed. Everybody came out unscathed. Actually, everybody that came out pretty good. We get another offensive lineman back again this week that we didn't have last week. Our left tackle, so got an opportunity to bring him back. So everybody came out unscathed. But as far as me coming out unscathed, I wasn't unscathed. But other than that, everybody's good.
So let's talk about how the game unfolded. I see, Tennessee Tech jumped out big early in the first half.
You know what? The crazy part is, Pitch, they jumped out big, but it really had to do, again, with self-inflicted wounds. We literally had 6 turnovers for the entire game, and 3 of those turnovers were taken back to the house, and one of them was put on the 5-yard line, which led to points in the first half. Realistically, the defense gave 10 points, and the other points were given up via field position and everything else based on those turnovers. So that was the rough thing. We just had a bad day when it came to turnovers. And it was just a situation where we just weren't making smart decisions, on offense.
And you said that 3 were returned for touchdowns?
Yes, 3 of them were returned for touchdowns. 2 fumbles. There was a sack fumble they picked up and took it to a touchdown. There was another sack fumble that was taken to the house on a touchdown. There was an interception that was taken to the house.
Wow. So in the second half, were they able to regroup?
We actually, that's when we scored our points. We were able to regroup and do what we need to do. We came out. The defense only gave up 3 points in the second half. That's what I'm saying. That's the crazy thing about it. They only gave up 3 points, but they added 3 touchdowns in the second half off of those turnovers.
Take us through the first half when your center, did the center start or did he come in?
No, we went ahead and started him. The center came in. We went out the first. We always defer if we have an opportunity to defer. We want to put the defense out there first and see what kind of offense they're running. But defense goes out there, stops them 3 and out. They do a great job of stopping them 3 and out. Offense goes out there. They get the ball moving a little bit, get a penalty, and we end up punting it away. So it's a situation where through the whole first quarter we're fine, and then they end up scoring because, again, offensive turnover in our end of the field. We throw a pick, I think about the 20-yard line. Defensive lineman is dropping on the zone blitz. He drops, picks it off, takes it back to like the 5-yard line. They end up scoring 7 points. So that's how they end up getting their first 7 points. So that's how the first quarter went, which is kind of, like I said, it was one of those situations. But we regrouped. It wasn't a situation where we got upset or anything like that. They scored 21 points in the first half, but we were able to regroup. We recovered from what's going on and what's happening. Came out the second half, scored 7. Boom. Went up on 7. Next thing you know, we go down. We missed the extra point. We go down. We score another 7. Boom. Scores 13-21. Probably a turning point in the game, to be honest with you, Pitch, was we punted the ball, and their guy fumbled it, but they threw a flag and said our guy interfered with him being able to catch the ball, and it doesn't look like that on the film to me because there's really no halo rule. But they said that he impeded him catching the ball, and that's why he wasn't able to catch the ball. But had we got that because we recovered that fumble, it'd be 13-21 with us on the plus 40-yard line. So, things changed, and then that happened. Then we end up turning the ball over, and they end up scoring off of it. So a lot of things unraveled for us.
How did you guys fare with Robinson being out in the first half? How did your wide receivers hold up?
We didn't fare very well. We didn't get the ball to the receivers, but one receiver stepped up. Connor Becker was one of our receivers, our possession receiver. He's a transfer from Stetson University down in Florida. He came in. I think he caught about 3 or 4 passes in the first half to keep the ball moving the way we needed to. We just didn't score. That's the thing that's kind of unsettling when you don't score points in the first half. And we're a team, like I told you, we need to do those things. We need to put some points on the board. We need to see success for us to keep things going. We didn't see early.
And how were the safeties? Did the backup safeties started, or did the starting safeties start out?
Well, I'll tell you what we did. What we ended up doing, Pitch, and what helped us out a little bit was we put one safety out there who was healthy. We put 3 corners out there. We played cover man with them. And we did a good job with that. Defense did a good job putting that game plan together, so we shut them down pretty good. And as far as their running backs, the 2 running backs, we really held them in check. It was a quarterback that hurt us on some scrambles and hurt us on some quarterback runs. But as far as the running backs, we kept them pretty much in check. We kept them. I think they only had like 100 and something yards rushing the ball, and that was because of the quarterback either scrambling or quarterback runs and stuff like that. So we held them in check. So the defense did a good job, like I said, of holding them down.
In regards to miscues, in regards to penalties or missed tackles, how did the team bounce back from the
Oh,
last
putting a whole lot of missed tackles. Like I said, the guys are doing a great job of they're flooding the field right now. Defensively, they're getting to where the ball needs to be. They're flooding wherever the runner is. So even if somebody does miss, the next guy's right there to make the tackle. So they're doing a good job of breaking on the ball with passes and doing a great job when it comes to run of gang tackling, getting guys in the back. We probably had about 8 tackles for loss. So that'll tell you how much we've improved. It ain't just about tackles a lot of times. It's also about tackles for loss. We had about 8 tackles for loss. So that's a big improvement from some of the stuff that we've been doing.
Absolutely. It means that the first guy that's getting their pads on them is either stopping them or slowing them down enough for the rest of the game to come.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. That's what you know, and I know gang tackling is huge when it's defense.
When we talk about the offensive line and maybe the penalties that was setting the offense back, were those things minimized as well?
Yes, they were minimized, so we didn't have a whole lot of penalties. The big thing that wasn't minimized, and this was what's so weird. I mean, we've been holding on to the ball except for the past 3 games. Is when we first started turning it over. We had 4 turnovers against Brian. We had 6 turnovers against these guys. We've had 10 turnovers in the last 2 games, and before that, I think we had one turn. In the first 4 games, we had 1 turnover. So that's the weird thing about it. So the transition isn't being made like I wanted to be made. So
Right.
didn't go as well as we wanted to do. Again, like I said, but they did fight. I mean, the thing I'll tell you about, they still competed. They still got after. The defense didn't get upset with the offense when they were turning over. That's probably the most important thing. The defense was more worried about, hey, stop. Even when they took a pick, I hear the defense guys like, just tackle him, we'll stop him. So those are the positive things about it. They're still coming together, but we still got to put 4 quarters together.
How is the communication when we talk about, and you talk about the chair, and that's something that we spoke on last time as well, was that when the offense is on the field, that, after the defense go over their prep from whatever happened in that last series, that they're cheering on their teammates. And it sounds like they were actually doing that,
Yeah,
especially with the encouragement, like, you know what, regardless of what happened, just stop them. We'll take care of the rest.
yeah, they're doing a great job at that. But guys aren't sitting on the sideline anymore, being in dismay or whatever the situation may be. They're stepping up and they're yelling, hey, defense, let's go. Like even when one of the guys, one of our running backs, he caught a screen and he was the one that fumbled the ball. When he fumbled it, first thing he did was run over to the defense, like, hey, guys, I apologize, man. Let's just stop him. Let's get back out there. We put some points on the board. So the communication as far as that goes is getting stronger and getting better. So the team bond is coming there. But like I said, we just got to put 4 quarters of football together.
I love it, man. I love it because that was one of the things that we talked about was the encouragement from all sides of the ball, regardless of who may have dropped it or who may have been the reason or why a field or flip was gained. But still communicating within each other. And it
Absolutely.
sounds like, as you stated, the defense, the offense, special teams did transition from that bye week, and they did have positive treading and positive grounding, a positive response.
Yeah, there's
Um,
always positives whenever, even when you lose a game, and I know there's always things you can pull from the game that are good. And the good thing,
Absolutely.
when you lose a game, you're pointing out some things that are there to make sure guys, hey, got to take care of this, got to take care of that. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make sure, again, season's not going the way we wanted to go, but we got to make sure we keep our guys going in the right direction with the right mindset and making them understand that you have to work as hard as you can. When it's least expected more than anything else, when there's not much expected, you got to really put it into it. You got to do
Right.
what you do and make sure you're maintaining what you're doing.
But the thing is that your team doesn't lack talent and it don't lack confidence. So it's just piecing together those things that are off. And in addition to polishing up, but the record will be different. So it's different if you got a team that either lack confidence or don't have the amount of playmaking ability. But that's not the case with Robert Morrison. Sometimes the record doesn't always show and reflect the capabilities that the team actually has. And truth to be told, things that we already talked about, penalties kill us, um, missed tackles kill us, but then also injuries kill you. And when you have the amount of injuries that you guys have had, that it does take an effect on the team overall standpoint wise.
There's no doubt. And the thing about it, what you're looking for, the word we don't have that consistency because, like I told you, and I've told a lot of people, we haven't had the same offensive line since the first game of the year. Every
Right.
time we the game because of injuries, we got a guy here, we got a guy here. And again, I always tell people, I'm not making excuses. I'm giving you the reasons why behind some of the things that happened the way they're happening. But
Right.
we've moved a guard to the tackle spot. We had to take a tackle and move him to here. We had to take a redshirt freshman and put him at center. So those are the things that we're going through. But those growing pains, what they do is they make you lack consistency. See, if
Yeah.
we four guys that were in place at all times, the consistency would be there. So that's the thing we're trying to get. If we can consistently do what we're supposed to do at the times we need to do them, that's what's going to help us win football games. So we're hoping this week we can do that and get those things going.
Let's talk about as we transition. Plow the word of the week last week. How about let's transition to our wild of this week?
While this week is decision.
Mm.
And what that means is it's not a final decision, but our guys have to make a decision. Are you all in? Because again, we don't have anything right now. We're playing for going to be 5-6, the best we can be. But are
Right.
you? Do you understand? Are you going to be a great? Are you going to make a decision to be a great teammate? Are you looking for self-satisfaction? Are you looking to go 3-0? Are you making a decision to do what it work? Do what we got to do to go 3-0? Are you going to make a decision to not do those things? So we're making a decision. Are we going to continue to train and get better? Or pull back? So those decision is what we're going to do this week. And as a coach, the decision I made is this guy may play, this guy may not play. So those decisions are going to be made too, based on how you're training on the football field. So everything's starting to come together. So we got to make a decision this week on what we're going to do.
It's funny you pivoted to what I was going to say. You make a decision on your preparation of training, your practice mode.
Absolutely.
You make a decision on the transition, how you either positive or you negative. You also make a decision on how uncomfortable you want to make it,
Absolutely.
in regards to your ability to keep growing.
Yep.
Because when you're a player, you never stop growing. No
Mm-hmm.
one ever knows it all. It's every little piece. And from what I've seen personally, and through watching the games, like I said before, not just because I look at you dearly as a close mentor and a friend, but I've seen the product that you guys have, and I see the potential. And like you said, it's just the consistency. Anytime the inconsistency slows down, it throws a wrench into already unforeseen charted territories with the injuries, right? Then with the missed tackles, and then with the penalties,
Mm-hmm.
so forth and so on. So um, I love what I've been saying, and if people, because the critics like to compare and contrast, right? So when we talk about last year they competed every single game, but they weren't victorious in any of them. But you couldn't tell by the way they played each game that they were at a 0-11 season,
Right.
right? And there's no difference. So the heart is there.
Mm-hmm.
So I commend you, Coach, through it all, because I couldn't imagine how that the amount of pressure when you talk about, because at the end of the day, the results is wins and losses
Absolutely.
that covers us when it comes to job security.
Mm-hmm. No, there's no doubt about it. And I tell people all the time, this is a performance business. If you're not performing, then they tend to get rid of you. That's what it boils down to. But I always look at the bigger picture. You know that, I know that. So how are we helping these young men grow? So if I just back off because I'm worried about wins and losses, I don't continue to push them because there are other things that they need to learn about life and grow. And we're doing that through football.
Right.
Being uncomfortable, making a transition, being consistent, all those things are a part of life. So I'm constantly teaching them life lessons. So when you're trying to build a program where you're producing better men, better husbands, and better fathers, those things become essential in what you're trying to do to help these young men grow. So we're going to continue to stay competitive. And another thing I heard, and I think the Jets coach said this, a competitor is somebody that's going to lay it on the line. But we also got to be commanders. And what he meant by commander is everything that a competitor is, except he brings a friend with him. And so that's what I want our guys to understand, that we not just only have to be competitors, we have to be commanders now and bring a friend with us and make sure we're doing what we need to do consistently in order to be a good football team and making a decision to do those things.
As a coach, do you have to compartmentalize the aspect of job security versus when you're coaching?
I don't really, to be totally honest with you. I'm not. It's one of them situations, man. I care more about our guys winning and our guys being producers, better men, better husbands, better fathers, then I'm worried about getting fired. I mean, that's a part of the business. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you know that may happen. But
Right.
winning and you're just upset about not winning and you're worried about getting fired. You know, when it comes to being fired, your mindset's going to go one or two places. It's going to be, well, I'm about to get fired, so I'm not going to work as hard anymore. Why do I need to push myself? Or
Right.
I'm about to get fired. Well, who cares? I'm going to just do whatever
Right.
I do. And or you're going to push it to the next level and say, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going out my own bullets. I'm going out shooting my own gun. I'm going to make sure I'm doing exactly what I need to do. If I can't get it done here, I'm gonna get it done somewhere else. And my
Right.
whole is I'm gonna do my best regardless if I'm about to get fired or not, because this is the job that I do. So I'm gonna do the best at my job and be the best at my job that I can be, regardless of wins and losses. But I know that I'm giving my best, I'm giving 100%, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm living in my purpose. So those are the things that are important to me.
A couple things we talked about last week in regards to the game this week that you played the past weekend that you played against Tennessee Tech was, you wanted your team to start fast, not as much as in tempo, but
Mm-hmm.
to start off fast and aggressive. Despite the turnovers, how was that? How was the response to your request?
Oh, it was good. I mean, especially by the defense. Like I said, when you go out there and you get a 3 and out quickly and you get the ball back to the offense, that's what you want from the defense. So now you give the the offense more opportunities. Now, plus they get the ball in the second half, at the beginning of the second half. So it's getting where we need to be at. We just got to get, like I said, we got to get the offense along the line like that. But again, even though our center came back, now we just got another new piece who hadn't been there for the last 4 weeks. So we got a new center. We had to bring in a new guard. And so it's a situation, and we had a left tackle, a different left tackle. So we still had to move some pieces around in order to get where we need to be at. So again, the consistency has to come better, and hopefully that'll come this weekend.
Did you give the players that were previously injured? Did you give them? Did you take it easy on them during practice?
What
I
do you
mean, not take it easy as in like pressing them or pushing them to keep going harder, but I mean, taking some reps off, um, taking their injury into consideration of
Oh,
how
yeah.
much
You have,
practice.
you have to do that. But at the same time, they still got to get to work. And it goes back to what you said. When they're on that sideline, they better make sure they're getting mental reps, because you've come back. You got to make sure you're getting those mental reps and doing what you're supposed to do. But you got to be smart too. And the trainer helps me out. I train Mike Vittorino. Mike does an outstanding job as a head coach. Let's make sure they do 2 plays a team, or they do an entire team, or they do 2 entire teams, and then they just do individual. So he makes sure I stay on top of those things. So we do a good job of monitoring those guys and making sure they're moving along. And the players, they let us know, hey, coach, I feel good, I feel okay, and everything's fine. So we make sure we keep those monitored.
What last week was tempo. What is it that you're looking for this week besides our word of the week, which is decision?
I think it's consistency. We've got to be more consistent and got to have a little more rhythm, especially on offense. Those are things we got to do. We got to make sure we have a little bit more rhythm and get things going. But we got to be consistent across the board: offense, defense, and special teams. Special teams went along better. Our freaking field position was outstanding. I mean, it wasn't a situation where the special teams didn't put us in trouble as far as field position. It was the offense that did that with the turnovers. But as far as the special teams went, matter of fact, it was one time, because I'm thinking about you when it happened. Our punter kicked it. I think he was at the -20, and it rolled all the way to the plus. I think to the +10. So he switched the field in one
Field
time,
position.
and we went out there and stopped him. Unfortunately, next play we tried to block it, and he ended up running into him because he didn't go to the block point. So we were trying to be aggressive on a lot of things and trying to make some things happen. But the consistency has to be there this Saturday.
But the positive aspect out of it all is that your team is still responding. They're not laying down.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly. They're not going out there and just laying an egg. They came out in the second half and they went at them. They did what they needed to do. And unfortunately, the turnovers took us out of it. But like you said, they continue to fight and they continue to compete.
How excited are you to look forward knowing that you'll have Robinson back now from the start of the game? And how did he fare out in that second half?
Well, I'm excited about it, period. But what I'm more excited about is the fact that we saw that Connor Becker can get some things done, and some other receivers also caught the ball, Dre Coop and some other guys. So now we know we expect more out of those guys. We're not just expecting out of him anymore. Now we expect
Right.
more guys. So that's the good thing about it. Now we got the quarterback to spread the ball around a little bit more, because now he sees that other guys have been here, but we've been getting the ball to Noah's so much. It's like we haven't noticed those other guys. With him being out the first half,
Right.
now we notice those guys and then where we need to be. But we also, the tight ends have been a huge part. a huge part of our offense. And they were again this, they were again this week. A tight end scored a touchdown, and also one of our fullbacks scored a touchdown. So those guys are a huge part of our offense. Also, we got to make sure we stay with that.
Listen, I love Chandler. I love his. I love his aggression coming off the good run blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from that game that I saw when I was there against Howard, he never quit. He even was hurt. He was hurt. He wasn't injured. He
Right.
came out for a play or two, and came back in. And I love his motor. Even just watching his demeanor, on the sideline, like he still has that look in his eyes, that still burn in his hair. Like I'm gonna get it done. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah, guys are doing great, man. Like I said, like we said, they're not giving up. And like you and I said, they're going to continue to bust their behinds. We got 3 games left. And like you said, let's not look forward. Let's try to go 1-0 this week and get things rolling.
Let's go 1-0 this week. Coach, it was good talking with you, man. Look forward to Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Colonials decisions. How do you want to move forward? Well, I already know.
Let's, get,
I
let's,
already know.
let's get it done, man. Hey, enjoy Halloween. Take your son out, man. And let's go, Bobby Moe.
Let's go, Bobby Miller. It's your boy Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone. Bowie TV coming to you live with Coach Bernard Clark Jr., aka Tiger. Hey, coach of Robert Morris University is going down. See you guys on Thursday.
Peace.